since I was young, since I was like 10 years old, I've been obsessed with rock and roll. And I'm 40 something, 42, I think now. I can't remember, but it hasn't
It doesn't get better,
it
bud.
hasn't waned at all over the years. Like I still just really love rock and roll.
Yeah! Hey guys, this is S. Patrick Brooks with the Heavy Underground Farm Report. I've got Hippie Death Cult today on the show. I am so excited. Hey guys, thanks for joining me. I have Laura and Eddie and Harry. You guys, this is just
Yeah,
one
thanks
of
for
the.
having us.
It's my pleasure. You guys are like one of the best bands in the world, and I just like absolutely stoked that you are on my show. You guys have a whole bunch of exciting stuff coming up. So I'm just gonna like cut to a question, let you guys do some talking. But your new album's coming out May 9th. It's called Live at the Star Theater. You guys want to talk about that a little bit? You must be excited.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, it was at the end of a long North American tour. We did a European tour right before that, then went straight into that. So we were on the road for quite a while, and that was kind of the tail end, last show of all of that. At the end of last year, November. And yeah, Gabe at Heavy Psych had been asking us for a while about doing a live album. So I've been trying to record shows here and there to see, if anything turned out good enough to use. And that one, the stars just kind of aligned for us because we had friends that could kind of help to make sure that things kind of went right and we were able to capture everything properly and have stuff to work with and mix and all that stuff. So yeah, so like I said, kind of the stars aligned as far as the production side of things
Yes.
that night. So yeah, we decided to put it together and Gabe was stoked. And
also kind of just wanted to capture that moment in time of just like that album and the touring and how the songs would evolve in a live setting, some additions that we made to some of the songs
like some
on top,
jams,
like some
yeah.
extra parts on top of what you would hear on the regular album. So
Because we try to change our set every time we go out, whether it's every year or even every different tour that we do. We try to change things up just a little bit.
yeah,
So it was cool to have like a snapshot of that point in time.
That's a special place for you guys too. So it wasn't just a random
That's
place that
true.
you got lucky that
Yeah, it's our
you but that's in your hometown. Tell me about why that place is special to you guys besides the album.
well, we played a show with before Harry was even in the band. We played a show with him at that venue during
yeah,
one of the hottest days of the entire of my life, I
Yeah,
think.
it's like 116 degrees.
I almost passed out on stage, and I think you wore like shorty shorts or something.
First time wearing shorts and last
Yeah.
time wearing shorts on stage.
First and last.
Yeah.
So there's just like a lot of memories of just playing shows there with our friends, bands, meeting Harry.
we played there probably
Like,
more than any other venue, I think,
yeah,
anywhere. So
and
there's
it's just a beautiful venue, and it has a lot of history in Portland. It used to be a burlesque venue way back in the day, and it's just like cool that there's still so much going on in that spot.
and Portland's always been really supportive of us too, so it was really cool to kind of capture because you'll see in the video there's a lot of like the crowd kind of captured also, so it's cool to have a snapshot of that period of time and that audience and all that kind of thing too.
Yeah,
That was definitely another thing that kind of made it special.
and it was
Fantastic.
the
Did you
last
all
show.
grow?
It was
Sorry,
basically
Laura.
it was the last show of the tour. So yeah, we were like it was a big celebration kind of feeling at the end.
Okay, you guys, I saw you guys in Denver on that tour.
Oh right.
Yeah.
And, man, you guys like just absolutely killed it. Like I knew you guys were going to be good, but that was kind of like, oh shit, these guys are absolutely fantastic. You guys have this incredible live energy. So when you guys recorded your album, when I listened to it, man, I get the feeling that you guys like are playing live. How did you guys achieve that sound?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we definitely rehearse a lot together and develop our tones together, develop sound and structure of the songs, all that kind of stuff. Um, and then a lot of that too had a lot to do with like the method we used to record it, which was with a lot of like analog gear. So yeah, we were all in the room, and when Harry was doing his drum tracks, so we were doing like live takes of his drums, and we did end up overdubbing the bass and guitar and everything later, but yeah, it's like we're not really concerned with like the modern day like standards of recording and like trying to sound all cutting edge with like all the fake samples and all that kind of stuff. We're kind of like more like an organic kind of vibe. So like you're hearing like, you know, the microphones right on the amp going through preamps into a board. It did go into a computer, but then it was sent back out to a board and it was mixed live on a board. And then that was sent back into the computer as like a stereo track. So there was a lot of like transistors and tubes and stuff involved in the recording and mixing of that album. So that probably like definitely, you know, had a lot to do with how it sounded.
Do you guys use a lot of vintage equipment then you're not using?
Yeah, totally. All
So
of
I
it.
don't remember your
Yeah,
amps, but
totally. Yeah.
Mhm.
It was a lot of the amps, the drums, the bass amps, guitar, all everything's vintage. And then also like even the mics and preamps we were using too were like old school kind of stuff. So yeah.
do you guys have anybody that you like in particular? Like, yeah, we listened to a lot of these guys growing up.
Yeah, I think we all have that. And I think a lot for all of us, it is older bands. Um, like I grew up obsessed with Black Sabbath, and Harry grew up obsessed with Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then it sprung from there, like you know, like digging deeper than, you know, who were they into? The Beatles and Little Richard and whoever, you know, and even to this day, I listen to more older music than I do modern, and I just am really inspired by, yeah, just there's so many elements by like just like I don't know, the sound, the tone, like the authenticity, I guess. I don't know what you'd say, but like there's just something to it. There's a charm to that kind of stuff that just makes me feel good and inspires me, you know.
I think it drew me to your band, honestly. You know, I'm probably just a few years older than you guys, so but I love hearing those old influences. Did you guys like, grow up in the Pacific Northwest? Did the grunge scene have some influence on you as well? I mean,
I
So
grew up I
Florida.
grew up here in Portland.
oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. You guys grew up in other places?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
So
the only one from here.
I
Of
All
so
right, cool.
you
My,
were
This
oh,
is
cool.
Frankie, by the way.
Yeah,
Hey,
in
bud.
the Portland area, and I grew up just outside of Toronto in Canada, a town called Hamilton, Ontario.
Yeah, I grew up like in Southern California, kind of in the uh I guess kind of on the other side, more eastward of the beach, and stuff. So that's where I mostly grew up there. Yeah.
So, you guys, you're from, I don't know what the climate's like in Toronto, but I do in Southern California. So, do you think, did you guys just decide to move to Portland? Was it a decision you made before you were in the band, and that's how you guys got together? Or did you have to move to Portland
Yeah,
because you were going to be in a band?
What's
yeah. I mean,
funny is I had moved away to LA for 4 years, and Eddie had ended up here. We had this funny thing where we crossed paths. We were both living in Eugene, Oregon. And then from there, I went to LA. He came from LA to Eugene. Does that make any sense? And then he came to Portland, and I was in LA. And then we met. So he was here, and he kind of like that's how I ended up coming back home.
yeah, it was a conscious decision on my part to move from Southern California up to Oregon because yeah, just because of the music scene was so much because there actually
Yeah.
was music scene going on here. Like in LA, at least the time I was there for 13 years and there was no scene at all. There was no like there was nothing like, you know, nothing to latch onto as far as like coming up in a scene or a community or anything like that. So like when I came up here to visit and saw what was going on in Portland, it yeah, like it definitely like informed my decision to move up here. I moved up here specifically to start this band. So
It's super interesting. I wonder if that's one of those cases where it's so big that people don't connect. You know, you talk about living in an apartment building and not knowing anybody in there or something.
yeah, I don't know. I think with LA, I think it comes in waves there. Obviously, in the past, there's definitely been scenes that have come out of there and bit, you know, all kinds of things, of course. But I was there from like 2000 or 2001 to 2013, that kind of time, and especially for rock and roll, it was just dead there. Like there was nothing.
Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
guys are still cranking it out up in Portland, and I'm so glad you guys all got together. So, you guys, I just want to ask you one more question about your last album. And like, I really love Red Giant and Toxic Annihilator back to back. Like, that's like probably like the 7 or 10 minutes, best 10 minutes of my day if I'm listening to music.
Nice.
The lyrics that are interesting to me, like, it almost sounds like Toxic Annihilator is answering the questions or the statements that Red Giant's making. Do you guys, is that like a conscious decision to make those songs next to each other? It like seems like Red Giant is like, hey, I'm taking someone in here, and then Toxic Annihilator is like, hey, you're kind of fucked up.
I don't think I wrote all the lyrics and did all of that. I don't know if the choice for the placement was
We do
Based on the book.
based on that.
not necessarily based on the vocals, but we do, try to structure the album to have kind of its ebbs and flows, and
I think I know more what you're talking about because I'm singing it and I know what I was writing about. So yeah, like I appreciate that you kind of see it like that. I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
like really think about it like that.
I think that was kind of more a happy accident, but yeah.
it's a beautiful accident, and
Right on.
sometimes there's songs that are back to back that like, ooh, that should just be back to back, and I know they're not back to, I know they may not always be back to back, but like I do
Sure.
love those songs, and the lyrical content on that album is super interesting to me, and yeah, I'm sure that it sounds like you got some like stuff going on in your life.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not all just totally personal, but it's originated from maybe a feeling, that wants to be expressed and then kind of just written from there. And also, honestly,
But they're real
I get,
songs, yeah.
yeah, I get
Not like
like a
fantasy.
feeling from the song first, like whatever the music is, gives me the feeling of like what's going on here. I'm sure a lot of people feel that, and then that kind of determines. Red Giant already had the name Red Giant, so that kind of like got my imagination going as to like how I wanted to put that together. Yeah.
Thank you. One of the things I like about this genre of music, I came from like a lot of punk rock and stuff, and the emotion that was continually expressed was anger. And then, but I think the thing I like about the heavy underground rock is that it gives bands the opportunity to explore a deeper emotional range than just anger or partying. Do you think that helps shape your music, that freedom to express yourself?
Yeah, big time. Yeah. Yeah, I think, and also like not putting a limit on, what you want to express or need to express at that time. Yeah, I feel like that's the number one thing with us, and when we're writing music and working on stuff together, is just feeling expressive and doing something that we're really into, at least in that moment. Like this is what we're really feeling right now, and then trying to find something that all three of us are on the same page with, which isn't too hard, luckily for us.
Yeah,
But
we've all like
really, but
really liked most of the
but
songs.
yeah, there's no like rules. Like there's no like we're not gonna do something like this or something like that. We're pretty open.
Sure, right. I'm assuming that's the attitude that comes from Heavy Psych Sounds as well. I love
Sure.
that record label. It doesn't seem like putting a lot of limitations on anybody.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that being a smaller group, a three-piece band, is an advantage in your songwriting and performance?
I
Definitely.
do, with all my experience in the past of all kinds of different configurations. It's definitely a lot easier with the less people, the better, I think. But yeah, especially like even sometimes with three people, it can be difficult. But yeah, we're like I said, we're really fortunate that right now at this moment in time, like we feel like really in harmony with each other and in our intentions and what we want to do. Not even just with playing, but just what like touring and doing all the things that we wanted, like all the elements that are kind of coming into play are actually just kind of naturally working out, which is really cool.
But I think we were also just like allowing each person to kind of like, okay, that's your thing. Get into it, feel it. I mean, we'll kind of like make suggestions to each other, but I don't know. I feel like I've been given a lot of freedom to kind of play around with like the way I want to like what I want to bring, and I always trust that like what these guys are going to bring to the table is going to be awesome. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah. I
But
mean, I mean, none of us could blame you for that. Like, you guys are amazing.
yeah, we each
So,
have our thing and then we bring it together and it seems to work.
And we all care, like we all give a shit as much as the other, you know, which is also important. And it's not always that way in bands where every member is giving everything they have to, you know, and really
it
care.
seems like you guys have a good collaboration. Like, to me, it's like cool to see guys all sitting on the same couch and hanging out together. And it looks really, it's like, I don't know if every band does that, you know? I mean, the bands on the scene seem to get along with each other really well, and I think that's cool. You guys, like, what drew you guys to rock and roll while so much money and advertising and influence is being put into electronic music?
It's kind of like, yeah, it's hard to say. Like, since I was young, since I was like 10 years old, I've been obsessed with rock and roll, and I'm 40 something, 42 now. I can't remember, but it hasn't
It doesn't get better,
it
bud.
hasn't waned at all over the years. Like, I still just really love rock and roll, and I love all kinds of music. I'm not so much into electronic music. There's some hip hop that I like, but like, yeah, I know, like marketing and business wise, it's like the worst possible move you could make, you know. You know, it's not really about that for us. I don't think. I mean, like, obviously if it was, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. It's more about just being genuine and creating art that we love and believe in, and you know, more than like a business kind of thing. It's not really a choice, you know. It's like it's how I naturally feel. I mean, I'm sure I could probably speak for everybody, you know.
Do you
I mean,
do you think? Go ahead, Laura.
oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
No.
I'm probably the one that likes more styles of music than these two, as far as just like branching out. I like a lot of hip hop and like even pop and a lot of stuff. Maybe not the EDM stuff so much, but you don't want to hear me doing hip hop, so let's just say. But I just naturally, like, I even when I was younger, just always really drawn to like heavier stuff and rock and that's what I wanted to play. But what do I listen to and like what inspires me? That goes beyond rock and roll, so rock and metal. So, I don't know about
Laura,
you.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, I guess growing up, I always had an appreciation for rock music and blues and soul and funk and all that, and and being able to express that through drumming and all those influences and stuff is what's important to me, and I like to branch out a little bit, but just to get different ideas and stuff like that, and but yeah, it's always been rock and roll, to the core. So it's just not naturally.
grateful it has been rock. You guys, Laura, I had a question for you. I had Brenna from Crystal Spiders on last night. We talked briefly offline about how she felt that she kind of wanted to be a role model for some ladies that might be in the crowd that thought about being in a band or more involved in the rock and roll scene in general. Um, like, the scene is not as diverse as it could be. You guys are a shining example of that. I love it. But do you feel responsibility or any desire to be a role model for younger ladies out there who might be getting into rock and roll?
I didn't initially think that was the case, but I was just kind of like, I'm just playing and showing up, and I feel like the scene we have here in Portland, they're just so, I've been in bands since I was 19 or 20. So it's like, it's always been a normal thing to have a lot of girls in bands or like, play with different dudes and stuff. But honestly, like, since I've been more in the metal scene and like now traveling, I have had moments where I'm like, whoa, I'm the only person, the only woman here, So I've finally kind of got out of my bubble and saw what it's like in other places. And I didn't initially go into this thinking that, but I have had like younger people, older people, whoever, come up to me after shows and like just be so excited about whatever they just experienced and share it with me. And so it has become this new drive and passion for me to show up and inspire people in any way I can. So yeah, I guess it just kind of happened like by accident. And I feel honored, I guess, that I could touch someone's life like that and inspire someone. And you know, I took a bunch of time off playing music too, so I try to share that with a lot of people that like I quit music and I stopped playing for 9 years. Eddie brought me back into it. So I'm basically starting over, and I'm starting over as an older person, which doesn't mean anything. So
I think it's wonderful. I love your answer there. You know, I have some daughters, and you know,
Oh,
I think
cool.
it's important for people, for any people, to see someone that they can relate to doing something that they want to do. And
Sure.
so it's true for you guys too, you know? I mean, you must have had like a guitar hero or a drum and god that you guys loved.
Totally.
Was there someone in particular that, I know we talked a little bit about it earlier, but was there somebody that you really stand out and you're like, you know, that guy not only is a good player, but he's a good person too?
For me, it was Slash from Guns N' Roses, and this is like the early '90s when they were like the gods of the earth or whatever. And I was playing hockey at the time. I grew up playing hockey, and someone put it on in the dressing room. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I saw him play and read some of his interviews, and yeah, like he's the one that inspired me to play guitar in the first place. So definitely for me, it was Slash initially, yeah. But it felt like fuck, it's impossible to be able to ever play like that, you know. It didn't seem like, oh, I could do that. I wanted to
Do that.
yeah. And it's yeah. Let's see who Harry.
There's a meetup.
Let's guess who.
Yeah.
Let's see who Harry says.
I'm so scared. I'm gonna be shocked.
Well, of course, it's John Bonham, you know, and
Shocker.
and really is interesting is that you know, my dad, he's also a drummer as well, and he would always play that you know, that Led Zeppelin DVD that came out, you know, like the early 2000s, but he would play that all the time, and I'd always watch that performance as like a little kid, you know, and when I got older and got, you know, more into drumming and stuff, I was like, oh, that's John Bonham. I'm like, no way. I was like, I grew up watching this guy at the time, and yeah, he was one of the drummers that, you know, influenced me a lot, not only just with like drumming and stuff like that, but like approaching music and also just outside of that, like, you know, obviously he had his issues, which ended up being his demise, but just how he was a really, you know, kind person like that, you know, and a family man. I think I really respected that a lot, you know. But yeah, he was definitely a big influence.
So you guys are playing. I want to get into your European tour here in just a second. But you played with Cadabra on your tour, your last tour. And you guys get opportunities to play with a lot of great bands at festivals and stuff. Is there anybody right now on the scene that you're super excited about?
There's a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, it's when you ask a question like that, my brain goes in like a million.
No, that's cool. We don't have to answer that question.
Yeah, because
That's cool.
we played like 100 shows or something last year.
You know
And
what? I think
one
that
band
answers
that we met.
that's a pretty good answer. There's
And
like
yeah,
I was right up
Go ahead.
front when Greenlung played the festival
Yeah.
in New
we
York.
played with them at Desert Fest.
I
Yeah,
was right up front like a total fangirl,
They're great.
having so much fun. I had such a fun seeing them live, you know, and but I mean any band we play with, I love standing and watching. I'm not, unless I have to warm up or something, you know, but I'm always trying to like be up
soak
front,
it up.
like
Yeah,
checking out all the different bands.
the cool thing about this scene, and one of the things that attracted me to the scene when I started going to shows again, was that the bands would watch the other bands and actually like there's a real camaraderie between the
Totally.
bands.
Oh, that's what I love.
I will tell you that one of the reasons I'm talking to you guys today is because Patrick Newman from Clean sent Eddie an email or a
Yeah.
message, and I really appreciate Patrick. I know you're out there, buddy. I appreciate
man.
you.
Hey,
Thank you so much.
Patrick.
great band.
He's
Yeah,
a-
we played with them in Michigan. I think in Detroit. Yeah, that was awesome.
So sweet.
So,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of camaraderie is just like draws me to this thing, you know, and it's a big deal for you guys too. You guys are a big band on the scene, though. You know, you guys have kind of moved up. I don't know what to call it, but you guys have remained really down to earth. How are you like maintaining such a? I mean, you guys are just like I'm talking to you. You guys just seem like the most awesome, laid back people. How are you like maintaining your level despite your growing popularity and fame?
I guess. Well, I don't think we see it like that because we're in a bubble. So I don't. I think we just kind of take it moment by moment and greet people with the respect they deserve, or just kind of like being in the moment, being cool. I don't know.
I don't feel like
Yeah, we don't really feel.
you were talking about. I'm like,
Yeah,
What are you talking
Interesting.
about?
I don't think we always kind of have this mentality that nobody knows who we are yet, kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
and we're still kind of going out there trying to spread the word and do the thing.
We know who you are. No, we do. You know, so when
About
I-
the airport, Eddie and I did have a guy yell, "Hippie Death Cult!"
Holy
And that
shit,
was
it's
like,
Hippie Death Cult.
it was at the Portland airport, but
Yeah.
you know, still that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
that's like, to me, you guys, like, I just love your attitude. So, speaking of your impending fame and growing, fortunes and stuff, you guys are headed off to Europe. You guys are doing like 20 shows in 21 days or some
No, more
crazy
than
pace of shows, right?
30
30
shows.
shows in 31
30
days.
shows.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry, my old brain can't even wrap my head around that.
This one's going to be crazy too, because
It's
not only is
one
there
day
no
off,
days
yeah.
off, but there's, I think, 3 or 4, maybe 5 fly
Flight
dates
dates,
within
yeah.
there where we're having to fly to a whole other continent or whatever, and then back to the van for the next day. It's going to be intense, but it's always like that when we go out there.
It's this wild adventure. We're on like trains, planes,
Yeah.
buses, whatever.
And
the
it feels
van.
weird to have a day off when you're out on the road too. In Europe, for the most part, though, it's a little bit easier on us because the drives are a lot of times quicker because everything's closer together.
And we're not driving ourselves.
We have a
That's
driver.
such a amazing thing
Totally.
to have over there.
But yeah, like in the States, for instance, like especially on the West Coast, like a lot of the drives are long ass drives. So you're doing like 6 to 8, 10-hour drives.
I live in Denver, like there's nothing close.
Yeah,
to
that's a good example. So it's pretty grueling because once you get done with the show and pack up the van and whatever, say goodbye to everybody. You're at the hotel. It's probably like 4 or 5 in the morning by the time you get to the hotel. And usually you got to be at the next place by 2 or 3 in the afternoon for load in. So you do the math there. Like sometimes you're up after just 2 or 3 hours sleep, get back in the van, go. Whereas
How do you do it? What keeps you going?
Yeah, like
I try to do the morning shift, but sometimes I've been too tired and I'm like, you guys, I can't do this. Then he'll take over, and then Eddie will take like the next shift. Like
we just kind of whoever's feeling it in the moment will volunteer to drive and
we have a bed in
try
the
to cover
back,
each
so
other.
We just try to sleep and
Yeah.
take shifts,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, at my age, I can't even imagine that. It's like, I've got to drive more than 45 minutes. I'm going to have to stretch like halfway through.
I don't think a lot of people realize is like touring is fun and it's so much work. We love it. It's not for everybody. So that's why a lot of people don't
have
do
this
it.
perception that it's some big party or
It's like vacation.
But it's like
dude, I'm on vacation when I get home.
Yeah, like our work days are longer than anybody I know.
Yeah, I don't know when you'd have time to party on that schedule. I mean, you can't.
I don't know how people do that. Honestly, when they crazy party after every show, I don't even.
Just young, Laura. We're just young.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess you're right. That's this guy.
Yeah.
So, you guys, do you have any special challenges going to Europe, like that are different? I know the drive times are shorter, and that's cool. But like, to have is there anything that's like you gotta be kind of ready for that? Language barriers.
Yeah, there's like the huge flights to get out there and back. It's always a big deal to like figure out what we're gonna bring, gear wise or whatever, and how to fit everything and the weight limits and all the there's a lot of things to consider like just before we even go, like preparing to go,
And I was gonna say, and then also Heavy Psych provides us gear, when we go out, we rent gear from them, but there's always that little bit of like getting used to like what we have and stuff like that, and a couple of shows, and then we're like, all right, we're good, but it takes that just a little bit of adjustment, to play.
Particularly for him, because he's got here in the States, he's got his 70s Ludwig like killer. It's all dialed in. It sounds great.
Yeah.
but with whatever we're renting, like he doesn't even know exactly what he's getting until we get there, kind of thing. And half the time it's broken pieces. And you got to figure shit out. Like,
but yeah, I remember specifically the first European tour I did with them was got the kit, but then there's new heads, which was great. But then I was like, well, I have to play a show like tomorrow, and I'm like, oh, I guess I gotta get these new heads on. So I was like tuning in the hotel room,
the hotel,
and we had a couple of very angry Germans come to the door.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, I need to get this done,
Oh my God.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's great, and we're really fortunate to have like the gear and stuff like that and be able to go around and take everything and all that. But yeah, it always has that little bit of just adjustments,
But yeah, once you get in the groove, you're good. But yeah, it is an adjustment for the first week or so, just figuring out how to dial things in. Yeah.
My biggest thing that I've had to just do is just like really try to stay super healthy, because that long flight, because I've got there before and then like got sick and started to lose my voice, and that was a really unfortunate experience, so
Curiously enough, Laura, so I have a question from the audience. Hey, do you guys mind if I take a couple questions from the people who are watching the live stream?
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, so I have a question from Brenna from Crystal Spiders, and she's asking, how does Laura keep her voice so healthy? So since we're on the subject, how did you deal with that situation?
Well, I've just been learning as I go. If I get sick, that's a whole other story, but I still have made it through, like with a lost voice.
Yeah.
Just like I try to not well, if I lose a range, like the higher range, I just have to figure out how to like modify the songs and sing a lower version of whatever I'm doing. But I don't drink very much alcohol, or if not any. I don't smoke. And then I don't talk. I don't get to have any fun. No, I have a lot of fun, but I drink a lot of water. I'd use this little straw and I warm up. So before I go on, I always do a warm up. So I do this little, like, it puts pressure on your vocal folds and you kind of warm up, and then I'll warm up normally, and then I do harsh vocal warm up.
I have to talk to you about that.
All the stuff here. And then they don't let me do the merch anymore, because first of all, I want to give all the merch away for free, but second of all, I have to talk to too many people, like in a loud environment.
And when you're at a show, you're not talking,
like
you're yelling at each other.
Oh yeah, sure. I never would have even thought about that. Sure, that
doing that a lot, or like not really saying a lot. That's why.
Yeah, it's unfortunate she can't hang out as much like in the clubs with people because of that. Just
well, hey,
in Europe they love smoke machines. They're so fun, but oh my God, they love their smoke machines. And so sometimes I'm up there.
Hard. They're hard.
One time I couldn't even see the crowd. There was so much smoke in there. Yeah.
And some venues also like allow smoking indoors.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so it's like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Definitely.
All right, so it's been a while since we've done
that. I know a lot of people can do all of those things, like drink and smoke and do a lot of people can. I just can't. So
I think that's
but
heck, I think that's a great answer. I'm sure Brenna, thanks for the question. Hey, I also had a question from Caleb Reiser. He's a smoking hot guitar player from a band called Black Moon Cult. They're about to come out with this album. And Eddie, he was wondering if you would be willing to share your pedal combination that you use on Toxic Annihilator.
Yeah, for that song in particular, it's pretty simple. It's just a Boss SD1, that yellow fucking thing that you just see everywhere, into a Marshall JCM 800. And if you want to get specific, it's a 1982 50-watt JCM 800 amp. And the pedal also, the version of it I have is the Keeley mod, which I don't know exactly what it does, but there's a switch on it and it does something.
I know Caleb Reiser well enough to know that he appreciates all those details. He's like, he's a young kid, and he loves like Robin Trower and like great old classic rock acts. And I know he digs you guys too, and he was super excited that you guys were going to be on the show. Awesome. Let me see if I have anything else. Hey, somebody's asking, it's like Chris is asking, in Europe, what country's foods are you looking forward to eating the most? That's from Chris McGowan, my buddy, Chris.
We lost you for
Are you guys there? Are we still there?
Yeah.
Are you guys there? Are we good?
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
We
Cool.
Okay.
All
we
right,
missed
sorry.
the question though.
Sorry. So the question is from Chris McGowan. He asks, what country's food are you looking forward to eating the most?
Oh,
Kebab.
easy. Anything in Italy.
Yeah, Italy's
Hands
probably,
down.
Italy's probably the top. Oh,
Betty eats kebab a lot. Like
I
too
like
much.
I like all the food everywhere, especially in Europe. Yeah, I think Italy probably is the top.
In Italy, you go to the show and there's like this one place. This guy's like, my grandpa and I just picked. Sorry, it's a Dr. Sugar. It's like we just picked these mushrooms fresh today, and then they made us this whole fresh pasta.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like a
three-course-
three-course
I mean,
meal.
the
The
Right
best,
meal.
like better
What?
eat
Yeah.
here at home ever, and it was like,
You mean they just didn't heat it up in a plastic bag in a microwave? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
But the interesting thing is like how much food they want you to eat, and then it's like now get up on stage and play, and I'm like, oh fuck, I just want to go to bed now. So that's a little hard. I have a little container and I just put leftovers in it, but I have to do it secretly because the Italians do not like it when I eat cold leftovers. They got
Sacrilegious.
really mad at me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's so hilarious. It looks like I have one more question. There's a band in the Midwest, Solar Monolith. You guys are going to be in my show in a couple weeks. Can't wait to have you guys.
Oh yeah.
But they are asking, do you have any favorite fuzz or dirt pedals? And this question is directed at you, Laura. They're looking for bass fuzz pedals.
Ooh. Yeah, I have the Cliff Burton Morley fuzz pedal. That's the most fun one to play with. And then I also have the SFT.
It's a cattle and bread SF.
Yeah, that's a local Portland company. But that one's on all the time. But then I also add the Cliff on top of that for extra.
And lately you've been
What's
messing
the
around.
new one?
It's a
It's
ZVAC
got the
Mammoth or something.
Mammoth one. It's gonna be on this tour.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a new
I'm bringing
tone
it out.
for her. It's pretty cool.
Cool. Get some cool pictures of that for
I've been turning that one on with the Cliff Burton, and I turn the SFT off because then it's just too much. And I really like the way that those two kind of sound together.
Right on. Well, man, I played guitar for a long time and then realized maybe I should be talking to people who play guitar. And so I know a little bit about pedals and stuff. I'm not that technical, but I know that the people who play, and I have a lot of bands listening, I love that information. So thanks for sharing that. You guys, oh man, I got one more question. It's from Patrick Newman. And I'm taking he wants to know, I'm going to have to be here or be there if the answer is yes. He wants to know if we can all play hacky sack together the next time we hang out.
Yeah.
I don't
Hell
know
yeah.
how to play it, but I'll.
Get in that circle.
Yeah.
Should we do it during Red Giant? Let's do it live
Oh my
during.
God.
But
Man, I will.
with a balloon.
All right.
That's more difficult.
All right. I'm an old dude, but I can still kick some hacky sack, man. All right.
Nice.
Cool. Well, hey, you guys, I absolutely appreciate you guys being on the show. Was there anything you guys wanted to like mention or shout out before I let you guys go?
Just if we're in your town, come see us.
Yeah.
give us a hug after the show, whatever. Yeah, check out our new live album that's coming out.
Yeah, super excited.
Yeah, and pretty much right after that, we're gonna get like serious about working on a new album. We've been working out some songs, and hopefully over the summer, gonna record something new. So yeah, look out for that. And I don't know what else. Yeah, just thanks to everybody for.
If you haven't touched your instrument in a long time and you think, oh man, I could never get back into it again. This is your sign. Pick it up and start playing again.
You guys, I hope we get the chance to talk again when you get back in the studio and you start making new music. I hope your tour of Europe is just tremendously successful for you. Once again, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this show with me today. I know all the people that are watching just absolutely loved it. You guys, I'm going to let everybody go. If you guys wouldn't mind hanging on for just 1 second, though, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
guys.
Thank you.
Hippie Death Cult. This is S. Patrick Brooks with the Heavy Underground Farm Report. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. Hang on 1 sec, guys. I'm going to push the wrong button. All right, there I'm going to push the right button. All right, cool. It takes just